In this video, I want to teach you how to learn vocabulary effectively without memorize, and effortlessly. This is three key points about tips how to learn vocabulary effectively. The first point is embrace of exposure over memorization. If you memorize vocabulary, whatever methods you use flashcard, then for example, we write list of vocabulary in English, and the right side we write the words in our native language, and we close one side, we memorize it, read much time, more time. And yes, of sure you can memorize it by that method, but however strong is your brain, how many words you memorize it, some words will you remember it, and some words you will forget it. So, and the time you take to review vocabulary or memorize vocabulary, you will take time to exposure the real content. So instead of trying to memorize vocabulary directly, prioritize exposure to real content. Exposure to real content, especially with listening and reading, and every you encounter new words, you write it, pick up new words, you look for the meaning, and little by little you encounter the same word often in many variety of contexts, you will remember it. So don't memorize, just switch your time to memorize to exposure to real content, many variety of contents. And the second tips, maximize meaningful interaction. So keep exposure, keep engaged with meaningful interaction, including listening, reading, and speaking. For sure, speaking. In order to speak well, you have to speak a lot. In this era, we too easier for us to get the content for we learning the language. YouTube, flashcard, social media, and other. Yeah, to get a input, to get a lot of input to our brain. The final tips, or the third tips, the role of exposure and attitude. Language learning revolves around the three key factors: your attitude, the time invested, and your ability to notice language nuance. The time you invest, of course, to learn the language, we have to have the time to invest. We can learn it faster. We can take the time many years to achieving fluency in one language. Of course, if there is someone tell you that they can fluently, like native speaker, in 3 months, that they are lying. In learning language, we can learn it fast. There is an effort. We need efforts. We need hard work to learn the language. Okay, guys, that is the three tips for learning vocabulary effectively rather than memorize it. And now leave out the memorization method. If you're using this method, you will achieve fluency in many languages easier.